Welcome to the world of Mossad, where truth is optional, justice wears many faces, and time is just another weapon. But how did a tiny nation, born amid chaos in 1948, create the most feared and mythologized spy agency in the world? And why do world leaders, yes, even the powerful ones, still whisper about its reach? This is not just espionage. This is history carved with silence, blood, and brilliance. Stick around, because what you're about to learn isn't in the textbooks, and if it were, someone would have blacked it out.
Let's rewind. 1948. Israel is born, violently, surrounded on all sides by hostile Arab nations, outnumbered, outgunned, and geopolitically isolated. The country doesn't have time for diplomacy. It needs intelligence. Now, David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister, knew one thing: information would be more powerful than tanks.
But the intelligence services at the time were a mess, fragmented, uncoordinated, even sabotaging each other. Ben-Gurion wanted one service: lean, lethal, invisible. He called it Mossad Lemodin Ulatafkidim Meyuchadim, the Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations. The world would come to know it by one name: Mossad.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think makes a spy agency dangerous? Technology? Weapons? Political power? No. What makes Mossad dangerous is imagination. They turned weakness into a doctrine. No formal army? Then every citizen becomes a soldier. No intelligence empire like the CIA or KGB? Then build your own, off the books, off the radar, and off the leash.
Mossad began not in a Pentagon-like bunker, but in attics, basements, and safe houses scattered across Europe and the Middle East. Former Holocaust survivors, resistance fighters, linguists, merchants, their weapon, rage and memory. But their real baptism of fire came in 1956. Egypt's President Nasser nationalizes the Suez Canal. Britain and France are livid. Israel sees an opportunity.
In the shadows, Mossad brokers a secret agreement. Israel will invade Sinai. Britain and France will then step in under the pretext of peacekeeping. Sounds insane, right? It worked. Almost. But what mattered more was what Mossad proved. They weren't just information gatherers. They were architects of war, and they were just getting started.
But let's fast forward to one of the darkest chapters. 1960, Buenos Aires. A man lives under the name Ricardo Clement. Quiet, factory worker, keeps to himself, but someone recognizes the walk, the ears, the cold, calculating stare. It's not Ricardo. It's Adolf Eichmann, the Nazi mastermind behind the logistics of the Holocaust, the man who sent millions to their deaths.
The world thought he'd vanished, but Mossad had been watching for years. And when they had enough proof, they made their move. One night, Eichmann was snatched off the street, injected, gagged, thrown into a safe house. No gunfire, no witnesses. Then smuggled to Israel, disguised as an El Al flight attendant. Yes, really. Imagine that. A Nazi on trial in the Jewish state he tried to erase.
It wasn't just justice. It was theater. It was a message. No one is beyond our reach. If that doesn't make you hit that subscribe button, you're clearly not afraid of ghosts. But if you are, subscribe now, because the next story will send chills down your spine.
Let's talk about Operation Wrath of God. And yes, it's exactly as biblical as it sounds. 1972. Munich Olympics. Palestinian terrorists, Black September, storm the Israeli quarters and take 11 athletes hostage. The world watches in horror.
The rescue attempt fails. All 11 Israelis are murdered. The Mossad doesn't send flowers, they send assassins. And they don't stop until every single planner, financier, and facilitator of the Munich massacre is eliminated. Some were bombed in their sleep, others shot at point-blank range. One was blown up by a bomb hidden inside a copy of his own favorite book.
Was it revenge, justice, or something darker? Even the agents questioned it. But here's the twist. One of the hits went horribly wrong. In Lillehammer, Norway, Mossad killed a Moroccan waiter they mistook for a target. It was the first time the world realized Mossad wasn't just operating abroad. They were doing it without permission.
And suddenly, the myth had cracks. Still, the operations didn't stop. Operation Entebbe, a hijacked Air France plane, is rerouted to Uganda. Terrorists demand ransom and the release of Palestinian prisoners. But there's a catch. Idi Amin, the brutal dictator of Uganda, is backing them. The passengers are separated, Israelis from non-Israelis. The message is clear. This is a death sentence. But Mossad doesn't blink. They gather intel, blueprints, guard routines. And in the most audacious rescue mission in modern history, Israeli commandos storm Entebbe Airport, 7,000 kilometers away, and rescue nearly every hostage. All in under an hour. The world is stunned, but Mossad is already gone. Want to know something even crazier? They once ran an entire fake diving resort in Sudan as a front for smuggling Ethiopian Jews to Israel. I'm not kidding. They had brochures, staff, windsurfing instructors. Tourists visited and thought it was paradise. Meanwhile, Mossad agents were moving entire families under cover of night to waiting ships and planes. The CIA couldn't believe it. Who does this, they asked. Only Mossad. And if you think that was bold, wait until you hear how they tricked Iran's nuclear scientists with a virus. But that's Chapter 2. Let's stop here for a second. What drives a nation to go this far? Israel is a small country, always on edge, always surrounded. For Mossad, it's not just about spying, it's about survival. They believe every failure could mean extinction. So they don't wait for threats, they eliminate them. From secret diplomacy in Jordan to sabotaging Syrian chemical weapons to sending exploding phones to Hamas leaders, Mossad isn't playing 4D chess, they're flipping the board. But here's the paradox. With all their success, Mossad remains shrouded in mystery. No official budget, no public leader until 1996, and operations are almost never confirmed. It's the agency that exists in whispers, because Mossad understands something the rest of the world forgot. In the shadows, reputation is everything. Let the others brag. Mossad will strike and vanish. So here's what you need to know before Chapter 2. Mossad began as a desperate experiment, born out of chaos, molded by necessity. But through daring operations, near-mythic assassinations, and mind-bending strategy, they rewrote the rules of modern espionage. Yet behind every success, a question lingers. What happens when an invisible empire becomes too powerful to challenge and too mysterious to understand? In Chapter 2, we'll dive into the modern age, cyber warfare, shadow diplomacy, nuclear sabotage, and a silent war being fought under our noses right now. If you want to see how Mossad pulled off the greatest digital sabotage in history and how it changed global warfare forever, make sure you're subscribed. Chapter 2 is next. Ready? They never heard it coming. No explosion, no bullets. Just a computer glitch that turned into a catastrophe. Iranian nuclear centrifuges, spinning peacefully one day, suddenly began self-destructing. Technicians were baffled. Engineers rewrote protocols, and still chaos. The machines weren't broken. They had been infected by a virus so complex, so precise, it could only be described as surgical warfare. The virus had a name, Stuxnet, but behind it, if whispers are to be believed, was Mossad. Not with a gun, not with a drone, but with code. And this marked the dawn of a terrifying new chapter. Let's back up. By the mid-2000s, Mossad was evolving fast.
Their legendary field ops were still active, sure, but the new battlefield wasn't Beirut or Berlin. It was cyberspace. And their enemy wasn't just Hamas, Hezbollah, or Iranian Quds operatives. It was time. Because Iran's nuclear program was racing toward the red line, and the West was dithering. So while world leaders debated sanctions and treaties, Mossad got to work with the help of a certain unnamed partner agency, NSA.
What they developed was chilling, a cyber weapon disguised as a digital ghost. Once inside, it lay dormant, learning, watching. Then, when the moment came, it sabotaged hundreds of uranium-enriching centrifuges, silently, remotely. Without a single soldier deployed, it set Iran's program back years, and no one officially claimed it.
But cybersecurity experts had their suspicions. The coding was so regionally targeted, so layered, it could only have come from nation-level minds, and the Israelis smiled silently. This was no longer just about bullets and bugs. This was about data. If intelligence is power, then data is the new plutonium, and Mossad was mining it from everywhere.
Private servers, leaked calls, social media profiles. They even reportedly ran AI-enhanced facial recognition programs to track terrorists across public Facebook photos. Let that sink in. Your vacation selfie might be someone else's kill switch. You see, the digital world thinks it's protected by privacy, but Mossad knows better. Privacy is an illusion, one that can be weaponized. But don't think for a second they gave up the old methods. If anything, they fused the old and the new. Let's talk about Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, Iran's top nuclear scientist, a man so secretive his name was barely known outside intelligence circles, until he was dead.
November 2020, a convoy travels through northern Iran. Fakhrizadeh is in the second car. Suddenly, gunfire erupts, but not from a typical ambush, from a machine gun mounted on a car. But not just any machine gun. It was AI-operated, controlled remotely by a Mossad team over 1,000 miles away. No agents on site, no getaway cars. Just a satellite-linked weapon surgically targeting Fakhrizadeh while sparing his wife seated next to him. Let that marinate for a second. They executed a remote assassination using facial recognition, satellite guidance, and remote AI control. Hollywood couldn't write this better. But what's truly terrifying isn't the tech, it's the message. Nowhere is safe, not even in your own protected motorcade, not even with bodyguards, not even surrounded by your own people.
Mossad's reach is not geographic anymore. It's ideological, mathematical. If you are a threat, they will find you, and they will eliminate you. But Mossad doesn't always use guns and viruses. Sometimes they use silence, diplomatic silence. Reports have surfaced, never confirmed of course, about Mossad agents meeting with Saudi officials, even Syrian defectors, sometimes even Hamas-linked informants. Why? Because information is currency, and Mossad isn't afraid to pay the price or change alliances. They've smuggled Iranian dissidents into Europe. They've sabotaged North Korean arms deals in Africa. They've allegedly kidnapped Syrian nuclear scientists alive.
And most of it never makes the news. Let me give you a detail so bizarre, it almost sounds fake. In 2018, Mossad agents broke into a secret nuclear archive in Tehran. Yes, Tehran, the capital of the very country they're at war with. They spent 6 hours inside. They opened 32 safes, extracted over 55,000 documents and over 180 CDs.
And then disappeared. The next time Iran heard about it was on international TV when Prime Minister Netanyahu held up the files in a press conference like a magician revealing the trick. Imagine being the Iranian intelligence director that day. I wouldn't wish that heart attack on anyone. If you're still watching and your jaw's not on the floor, it's probably because you're already too deep in the game. If you want more of these dark state secrets, hit subscribe now before they find this video too interesting. Let's keep going. In 2019, Mossad allegedly prevented 50-plus terrorist attacks across 24 countries. That's not just national defense, that's global counterterrorism. And yet, most people still think of Mossad as just Israel's CIA. They're not. They're more like a ghost network, with eyes and ears in ports, airports, embassies, nightclubs, medical labs, coding forums. Sometimes they warn, sometimes they sabotage, sometimes they just vanish. Their philosophy? By way of deception, thou shalt do war, not diplomacy, not deterrence, deception. That phrase isn't just on a wall, it's in their DNA. But with power comes danger. You see, the myth of Mossad has become too big, even when things go wrong, like the botched Dubai assassination of Mahmoud al-Mabhouh in 2010. They bounce back. Why? Because people fear what they don't understand. Mossad thrives on that fear. Some critics say it's become too unaccountable, operating globally, crossing borders, breaking laws. Because if the choice is between obeying red tape or preventing the next Munich, the Mossad won't hesitate. And now, they're going deeper underground. Mossad is investing heavily in quantum encryption, biointelligence, synthetic disguises, even mind mapping tech. They're hiring neuroscientists, deep fake engineers, even poets. Yes, poets. Because the future of intelligence won't just be about what's real. It'll be about what feels real. And if you can manipulate what someone believes, you don't need to pull a trigger at all. So here we are, a tiny country with the world's most feared spy agency, operating in a new battlefield you can't see, touch, or map. They've come a long way from that attic in Tel Aviv. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You never know when they're watching. That article you read about a heart attack in Cairo, that fire in a missile depot in Damascus, that unexplained plane crash in Sudan, sometimes things just happen. But sometimes Mossad happened. Let's end with this. Power in the 21st century isn't about weapons anymore. It's about access. Access to minds, to truths, to the lies behind the truths. And Mossad, they don't ask for permission. They just act.
which is why their legacy won't be written in history books. It'll be written in fear, because the most dangerous weapon of all is the one you can't see coming.
If this story stunned you, share it with someone else who still thinks espionage is all James Bond and martinis. Hit that subscribe button for more dark history.